This is Radio Hereford FC, the home of the Bulls.
Joining me here at the training ground is the Hereford manager, Aaron Downs. First of all, seems like history now, ancient history, but congratulations, I'm sure, from all the listeners and all the fans for keeping Hereford up.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it does feel a while ago, and it was enjoyable at the time, and we had a good night, that's for sure. But then it was pretty much straight to planning for this season and the season ahead now. So it's been a busy summer, long summer, but it's soon come around quick, and really looking forward to get going now and seeing what the boys that we've brought in so far, what they can do.
A word for Cormac Daly, who's gone to Hearts.
Yeah.
And obviously George Munday has gone to Brighton. I mean, that shows the talent that is there.
It shows the talent, but it also shows the pull that our football club's got. And like I say, there was some tense moments, and some young boys that were, sort of in the spotlight, in the firing line, and they handled it really well. And I think those players showed other clubs that, given a chance, what they can do, and fair play to them. They deserve it, and I'm really pleased for both of them. Really good people, first and foremost, good kids. So they deserve it. So I'm glad for them, and again, like I say, it just goes to show the size of our football club and how people perceive us in the footballing world and football pyramid. So really pleased for them, but also pleased for us that we were able to help them. And
it was in pressure situations as well that they were performing. So I mean, that counts for a lot.
It does, and I think that's what the clubs that have took them, and also the other lads. It's not just Cormac and George. It's like Freddie and Harry from Cheltenham. The clubs were very keen to retain their services and carry them on for another year. And Mikey Lane again being taken on and secured by Fleetwood. So it goes to show that in those pressure environments, those boys stood up to it and were counted, and that holds a lot of weight for the clubs coming in to buy them. So well done to them.
And as you're saying, you forget that now. That's history. Up to you now to get the squad together during the summer months, and that you feel will compete at maybe at the top 10.
Yeah, well, we're like I say, we're trying to put a competitive squad together. We're not naive. We haven't got the biggest budget in the division, but that's not going to be an excuse for me, because it's not. I know what I was coming into, and I'm not deluded. I knew what I was taking on, so I'm not going to let that get in the way. So there's different ways I want to go about things, and get the best out of what I've got. And I think so far we've got a good nucleus. There's still a couple that need to be added, but I want to put the most successful team possible on the pitch for our supporters. But first and foremost for me is making sure that we've got competitors and we're competitive. So I hope we've got that in, and we can show that this season. So really looking forward to it. My staff have worked ever so hard over the summer, so I thank them, because Pelly's been with me a lot, most of the time throughout the whole summer, all the time throughout the summer. Sean's been working, night and day, speaking to people and ringing me up and just keeping me in the loop of things. So it's been really good with regards to recruitment, and obviously, both Dan the physio, and Dan the kit man, they've done all the bits they needed to do over the summer and worked hard. So we've hit the ground running, from the start of pre-season so far, and there's not been really any hiccups. So there will be, but hopefully we can alleviate those.
It looks to me as though you're trying to replicate, in terms of the style anyway, and being that competitive edge and not giving up. If you work hard, you get rewards, that sort of thing. Your mantra from last season. And noticeably, a lot of the players that you've brought in, they're younger and they're still keen to progress. It's not, maybe they haven't got the experience, but they've got that drive that you're looking for.
Every player that we brought in, I want them to come in to improve, to get better and to progress. I want that. I don't want someone to come in and just rest on their laurels. And that's coming from Finn Holmes, who's 19, nearly 20, all the way up to Danny Waldron, who's 30. And Danny wants to progress and wants to be better, hopefully with us. But every one of them have got a deep desire to improve and get better. And they all bought into what, they know what they're signing up for with me. so they know that there's some non-negotiables that I stick to quite firmly, and they're happy.
They know the expectations as well.
Yeah, exactly. They know what's expected, so they know what they're signing up to when they come in, and sort of the magnitude of the club, the pressure that comes with having the fans. But they wanted that, and they also want the opportunity to improve. So yes, there is a sort of a younger age, but there's still, you look at, Luke Spokes, 25. He's got 250, nearly 300 games under his belt. Same as Joe Willis, he's got over 200 games under his belt. You look at Cam Candola, who had 70-odd appearances for Kidderminster over the last 2 years at this level. So a little bit younger, but still there's some good experience in there as well. And then you add that to the boys we already retained. So you look at Lewis Hudson, the captain. You look at Kyle Howkins. You look at Theo Richardson. So we've got the nucleus. Even Aaron Skinner's got nearly 200 games for the football club. So we've got the nucleus of experienced players already there. So I just knew I needed some boys to come in that are going to give us legs and energy and enthusiasm and a desire to improve and a willingness to learn. You
talked about combinations in the past. Obviously, you've got Willis and Spokes in midfield, which, from what your comments have been made up to this stage, we'll soon see in the pre-season friendlies, but it looks as though they're sort of a pairing.
Yeah, I know, I absolutely agree with what you're saying, but everybody's got to do the hard work. No one can come in and say, well, I'm a luxury player, I don't have to do that bit because my mate's going to sort me out. Now, they will hopefully complement each other as far as those, but other players as well. And like you're trying to get ourselves, when we recruit, we're trying to recruit to a style of play that we want to implement. So therefore, you recruit accordingly to that, obviously within budget. So that's the way we've gone. We've not sort of said, well, you can be good on the ball and you just got to keep winning it back and give it to him. No, it's a case where everyone's got to be good on the ball, but everyone's got to be good off the ball. But there is a couple of pairings, as you say, that we feel will complement each other.
You mentioned the budget, you mentioned the financial side. It's not all used yet, so you obviously kept a bit back for hopefully bringing a few more in. Are we going to see trialists in the first couple of friendlies?
Well, I still need a few more players, so yeah, hopefully I've still got a little bit left. No, I do have a little bit left. So yeah, obviously there will be some loan signings coming in as well, because as we stand right now, we've got 14 signed on. So 2 goalkeepers, 12 outfields, so we're going to need a few more, of course. So there will be a couple of trialists. Yeah, I'll have a look at a few. What I'm not going to do is fill the team with trialists. There'll be a couple of youth team boys that come up and train with us as well, and play in a couple of the earlier games. So that is for numerous reasons, to bridge the gap between youth and first team, so 18s and first team. So they're getting exposed. They see the levels they need to attain to, but also help me manage minutes of the squad. So it helps in both ways. But yeah, there'll be a couple of trialists, but I'm not going to bring in, there won't be 20 trialists, there might be 5, 6 max. So yeah.
Yeah, I remember a season when I think I saw 45 trialists during a pre-season. I don't want to go through that again.
Yeah.
You still got a chance to bring in a couple of loan players as well. You were talking about the Fans Forum a couple of weeks ago. That gives you flexibility as well, even within the budget.
Yeah, it depends. Sometimes the clubs charge you quite a bit and you think, oh God, I'm going to have to pay almost a full wage for them, but others are generous. So it does give me that flexibility, and there will be, but they might not come straight away. They might take a little bit of time because of the clubs that they're at might need to use them throughout pre-season. So we've just got to be a bit patient with that. But irons are in fires with regards to those.
Are you likely to go back to Cheltenham and try and get Tustin and Wilcox again?
It'd be nice. Like I say, there's a lot. They've done great for us. No, brilliant, and hopefully we want to push higher. But at the same time, we're a great place, as we've shown with George and with Cormac. We're a great place for loans to come in and play and get exposed. And teams like Cheltenham, like Cambridge did, like Cheltenham, and other teams will look at that and go, do you know what? They can add value to our players. So that you can sell them to a championship club, and Cheltenham make money out of it without having to sort of do that. We help them in that aspect. So it's a mutual beneficial deal. So yes, I'll have that conversation, but I'll speak to a lot of other managers as well about a lot of other players. But they've been brilliant with me. Steve's been great with me, and Cheltenham's been great with me.
Looking ahead to the players that you brought in, it's a stepping stone for them if they are going to perform. You say they're in the spotlight.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's an opportunity. There's some younger players we brought in, and they'll be wanting to improve their careers, and that's what I wanted. So it is a great platform and a great spotlight for players to come and play their football.
You're happy with the programme, pre-season programme? It seems staged build up as you go through to that Shrewsbury game, but starting off at Pegasus locally, then Bishop's Cleeve. You're looking at that as an incremental build up?
Yeah. It was planned before the season ended, before we knew where we were going to be. But I am a bit of a planner and I'm an organiser, and I wanted to put a pre-season in place, whether I was here as manager or not here. So I wanted to put a pre-season in place that if I was to leave, then the club has still got something to go on, because I feel that's best practice. But obviously, I'm glad I did stay because it's the pre-season I planned. So I'm happy with it. Absolutely, I'm comfortable with the 6 games we've got. They'll all be competitive, which is great. There'll be no dead rubbers, and there'll be no, hopefully, no thrashings of either side. So they'll all be competitive, which is what we wanted.
You talked about getting minutes into players running tonight.
The boys have come back extremely fit. Our first session was Saturday. That was in Hereford, and the boys are extremely fit. Tonight will be 90% football, tactical. I've got 12 training sessions and 6 games before the first game of the season. The boys have committed to me and signed up to me that they'll do a lot of the bulk of their fitness and running away from here, because I've got 2 hours, 2 nights a week. I don't want to waste an hour and a half running them and half an hour on football. I want to spend an hour and a half tactical and 30 minutes of running them. So therefore, last night, on Monday night at home, they all did a run. So they're doing a lot of fitness work in their own time, which is great. It's going to take them half an hour to do that, which they're comfortable in doing, and they want to do that because they want to come and play football. And I want to give them that. So it will be hard work. It'll be a tough session, don't get me wrong, but it will be tactical, a lot of tactical detail around that.
And leading on from that, how important will it be for you? Because I've noticed it probably in the last couple of seasons. It just hasn't been the time too much to look at set pieces, either offensively or defensively. You can be able to look at free kicks and corner routines, both in defence and attack, and devote some time to it, because it's so difficult with a Tuesday.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Tuesday, Saturday.
You have to give, and that a lot of things come with continuity in results. So if you are getting good results, you're winning, then you can spend a little bit more time on things like that. If the results aren't great or the way you want to play is not, then you might want to spend a little bit of time on your actual game. But set plays are so important. We've seen in the Premier League this season how important they are, and that is an area that I really take a vested interest in. So hopefully the plan is to spend time doing that. Hopefully I'm able to do that, and I've got the time to do that. So that is the plan. But what I won't do is say we're going to be the best set play team in the division, because a lot of that comes down to you can have the best set play, but the delivery and the time and of the runs aren't there. It looks you've done nothing. What are they doing in the week? You know what I mean? Whereas you've actually worked really hard on it and it doesn't come to fruition. So there will be time spent on it. So hopefully you can see that. But if you don't, then at least you know I've tried.
Well, thanks very much for tonight, and hope to see you regularly throughout the season.
This is Radio Hereford FC, the home of the Bulls.